There's a very simple and straightforward way to determine if inversion tables or traction will work for your back pain. The one very simple way to determine if traction or inversion tables will work for your back pain is an unbelievably simple question that you have to ask yourself. Are you afraid of your back pain? It's been shown that the best determinant of whether or not traction will work has to do with how afraid you are of moving. The more afraid you are of movement, the more likely you are to guard and not allow the traction, which is trying to pull your spine apart, to work. This all has to do with the principle of guarding. So if we break this down a little bit further, we can see here how we have vertebrae, and then we have the muscles in between. You can see here how we have a nicely gapped spinal column, and that gives a lot of space for the joints and the nerves to breathe. Now, when we apply traction, the idea is we want to create a pulling. So the idea is to distract or traction these segments. So each individual segment sort of has a pull in the opposite direction and therefore pulling these segments apart. Now, if we add guarding, so if you're afraid to let this happen, or you're afraid of moving, you're afraid of your back pain, what that's going to do is create guarding. Now, the guarding is going to create compression because essentially we have these muscles in between that are going to tighten up and resist this motion. So now we have the effect of essentially a motion towards each other. So each of these segments are going to be applying a force to create compression. Now, when you add traction or when you go into an inversion table, the gravity or the pull of the traction is not able to overcome the strength of these muscles. Therefore, you can pull as hard as you want or use gravity as much as you want, but these muscles are just going to fight it and create compression, which is the opposite of what we're trying to get. And therefore, you can see why fear creates this guarding, which is not going to allow the traction that we're looking for, and therefore it is much less likely to work.